Lesson 4 on setting. Today we're going to focus on how can the setting of different books be alike and different. We're going to be taking a look at the time, place, and environment in which books take place. So go ahead and turn to a clean page in your reading notebook, and I want you to pause the video and copy this graphic organizer down. When you're done, unpause it and continue with the lesson. So we've been learning a lot about setting, and today we're going to compare and contrast the settings of two different books. Remember the story, A Train to Somewhere, where it was based off of a real orphan train? The train would take the children off the streets in New York to the orphanages in the West to be adopted. Some children went to families who needed the children to work on the farms or help watch younger children. Remember, Mary Ann was one of the 14 children making the trip. She was also one of the older ones. She was hoping to be reunited with her mother, who left several years previously to make a new life for them in the West, and who had promised to send for Mary Ann. But as the train traveled to the West, the kids were being adopted at each stop, except for Mary Ann. And at the end of the story, an older couple adopts Mary Ann. So today, what we're going to do is we are going to be comparing the setting of A Train to Somewhere and the story called Orphan Train Rider, One Boy's True Story. Before we listen to the story, if you take a look at the titles and the pictures, you will be able to see some of the similarities between the two stories. However, once we read and listen, I'm sure you will be able to find some of the differences in the setting too. We will be listening to the story chapters on Edpuzzle. And in the following activities, I want you to click the link to hear the first 3 chapters. You are only going to hear some of the story of Orphan Train Rider, One Boy's True Story, as it's a chapter book. But when you're done with your schoolwork, you can always go onto YouTube and do a search for all the chapters of the book and listen to them in order. Okay, there's quite a few chapters. So let's go ahead and listen to A Train to Somewhere, an Orphan Train Rider. And don't forget to write your similarities on your graphic organizer that you see between the two stories so that you can focus on the differences as you're listening to Orphan Train Rider. I'm also going to include the recording of Train to Somewhere, and you may listen to it, or you can just go to the activity of Orphan Train Rider.